But right now, I am proud to introduce to you one beautiful woman. Especially yesterday was International Women's Day. I can get to wish her a big one. But ladies and gentlemen, our woman and our special guest today is, I like this name, Rhodaline. Rhodaline. Jay would say Rhodaline.
Oh, Rhodaline.
But I prefer Rhodaline.
The
Imoru,
Ayana. And say Rhodaline, please. Auntie Rhoda.
Yes, Auntie Rhoda. She prefers to be called Auntie Rhoda. I mean, born 22nd of 1957. So wow. I cannot believe you look like this.
She's independence.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. I've got a tall, background about her, but once she's here, I'm just going to allow her to tell us everything. Auntie Rhoda, hello.
Hello.
I want to wish you a happy International Women's Day. It was yesterday, but accept mine today.
Thank you. I think it goes for all of us.
How do you feel when you hear big days like International Women's Day and look at your personal achievements and how does it reflect to you even?
Good morning to our viewers and everybody else. International Women's Day, as soon as you hear it, then you kind of get excited and you feel like, oh, I've been recognized somewhere. Because no matter what happens, if somebody else is watching it somewhere else, that person knows that I'm also international.
Sure.
So maybe watching it in Ghana, I'm Ghanaian. But if someone is watching it, say, in Nigeria or somewhere else, yeah. So it's diasporan, isn't it?
I know. I mean, Auntie Rhoda, I know that you're so passionate about KIAs, you're so passionate about women, everything that's, is in the interest of women. I know that you've taken your time, to read your degree, even do your master's degree in Gimper and all of that. But I'm curious, I want to know how much you grew up, how well you grew up, everything about you.
About me? Okay. Growing up, I was born some 62 years ago.
Yeah.
Celebrating the independence with Ghana.
Yes, I celebrate with Ghana as well. I'm actually from the Upper East region, in a village called Patia, which is in the Garu district of the Upper East region. I started my primary school education in Garu Primary School. I went up to class 2. I left Garu Primary to Boko. There was a school called Winnamzoa Primary School, which I did 1 year. So I left Boko in from class 3, and I found myself in Accra. So in Accra, I found myself at Majosa Preparatory. That's at Latibiokoshi, where I did up to class 5. And then from there, I found myself...
Which school again was on your Latibiokoshi?
Majosa Preparatory School. It's just along the road. Yes, you weren't born, I'm sure.
I live in that area.
Okay,
so
but you weren't. But it's still there. Majosa is still there.
It's still there?
Yeah, it's still
there.
there.
I know Bishop Bowers, I know New Hope.
New Nation and New... No. There's Majosa. It's an old school.
Wow.
Yeah, it's along the road somewhere where we call Town Council Line, that area. Yes. So from there, I came to Association International School. I entered Achimota School in 1969.
And Accra as well?
Yes, I'm an Accra.
Emefa. That's 2 goals for me.
That's a challenge right now.
Just so you know, I'm an Accra, so I always say it when an Accra comes on.
Oh, yeah, so...
Just so you know, Auntie Rhoda is the former second national vice chairperson for the CPP and presently the secretary to the advisory council of the National Interest Movement. And I am right. So she's highly political.
Yes, I come from a political family.
Right.
My father was a politician, the late Imoru. My mother was a housewife. And I think I started seeing politics quite early. I started pasting political posters at the age of about 10, kind of like trying to convince people to vote for my father. That was in 1969.
Wow,
when he was standing for the presidential elections. He had a party, the People's Action Party, and in those times...
Was in which year?
1969.
1969.
Yes, and that was the year I entered Achimota School. And it was like, if you ever heard it, it was Pepiniati Party because he was from the north. But luckily, we were able to garner two seats, that's in Zima East and in Zima West.
Wow.
So he still holds that kind of accolade for being the first individual to have a political party that got 2 seats. That was in 1969. So I've been in and out of political debates and stuff like that. And when I got to Achimota School, I think the one thing that interested me the most was joining the students' movement for African unity. So we had the likes of Adeti, who was then the patron, one of the patrons, you know, taking us along. And we learned so much. So I grew up with Nkrumahism. I came from a CPP family. So all that I knew was Kwame Nkrumah and CPP. And from there, it just kept going. The politics kept going. But then somewhere along the line, you want to do some other things. So I started doing some other catering businesses and things.
I know you love to cook.
My first love is catering. I actually have a diploma in catering.
Wow.
Nice.
Yes, so my first love is in catering and restaurant management and the likes. So this has been how it is. So when I found myself getting used to politics, I just loved it. I was a member of the 31st December Women's Movement.
Yeah. Wow.
As a coordinator for the armed forces, because my husband was an army officer. So I found myself dabbling in social work for the 31st December Women's Movement. And I became secretary to the Armed Forces Ladies Association. This was around 1982, 83, thereabouts.
Oh Lord, still were you born?
Yeah, 83, yes, I was just coming out.
Yeah, 83, 84, thereabouts, yes. So we went into the villages. We were part of those who were going to the villages, trying to get people to do small-scale businesses, trying to do some, you know. And I think we did a great deal at that time.
All these accolades and titles make it sound like then you had certain values about you that made you a people's person, you know, to be able to just slide your way through all these places and earn all these titles.
Yeah.
How would you have
My
described
favorite
yourself?
title is Auntie Rhoda. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what happened? I think there was something that kept ringing in my ear. When I was leaving Form 5 in Achimota, we normally have two leadership prizes. And for that year, that's one for male, one for female. And in 1974, I was awarded a leadership prize from the women's side. So having a leadership prize from Achimota School, for me, said volumes. And I just felt that, look, there must be something about you that your teacher saw in that 5 years to think that you'll be a leader or you can be a leader, and you have to work towards it. And because my father was in politics, he kept hammering it on me that, look, you've got to work hard. You just can't be a leader. The fact that they say you got a leadership prize doesn't mean this. But then I also recognized that I came from what you'd call a privileged background.
Okay.
Yes,
I mean, for
did.
somebody who went to Achimota, I couldn't wait to ask.
Yes, I came from a privileged background. So, and any time that I left my home and I went back to the village, I could see the disparity. And for me, it was something that I felt was really not fair. And I felt that, no, there's something has to be done. So as young as I was, I would go to my village with pencils, you know, textbooks, exercise books. And believe you me, I would even go to their classrooms to try to teach them, you know, things like English or music, because I felt I had learnt it in school. Why not impact this to my town folks? So it was part of me, and I tried talking to them, and I still do it. I still counsel. I still try to get them to recognize the fact that it's not just teaching, nursing, agric, but there are other professions. You understand? A lot of people from the north, when you ask them, they either say, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a nurse, I want to do agric.
Is there a reason why these particular job
Yes, in
career
those days,
decisions?
if you went into nursing, if you went to school and you went to nursing or teaching, you come out knowing you have a job. And yes, and you know, the poverty rates are such that parents thought that the best thing to do is, once you go to school, come out, get a profession that can give you a job, because there was no other way of getting a job.
Yeah.
So you either went into teaching, you went into nursing, or you did agric.
Right.
And this was something that they all knew. So it's not surprising that when they tell us that the highest number of PhDs that we have is coming from the north, and most of it is from agriculture.
Right. I'm curious, it sounds all rosy and really nice, but do you have any regrets, challenges? Have you had some, you know, really down and sorrowful moments?
Yes, I've had my share of.
I mean,
downs.
politics brings a lot of, you know,
politics.
disappointment sometimes.
Yeah,
you know,
politics,
critics.
you know, it's like, it goes up and it comes down. like I said, I came from a privileged background. But it got to a stage around, I think I was in school then, Form 3, when my father was accused of trying to topple the government. And he was arrested, and everything was frozen. And it was like you came from up there to nothing. You had it, but you didn't have it. So you had to struggle your way through.
Wow.
And then I quite remember when I was in school and my house mistress called me, because that day the court had pronounced that my father was to be killed. Like, they had sentenced him to death.
Wow.
And I was...
So, yeah, hold on right there. That moment must have come with a lot of emotions.
Did you even understand it anyway? How old were you?
I understood. I must have been about 15. I understood, you know, but I didn't understand the effect that it was going to have on me. For me, it was like, it's not true. They can't just kill him like that, you know. And in any case, I didn't see what he had done as something wrong. So, but then when the information came, I just stood there and I said, well, they're not going to kill him. And then she goes, oh, I like your faith. I said, yes, they're not going to kill him. So that was it. And they didn't kill him. But I think the one thing that stayed with me was going to visit him.
In prison?
Yes.
Which of the prisons was he?
In Sawam.
In Sawam.
He started off from in Sawam, and then they took him to secondary prisons.
Right.
And all those places I visited.
How many years did he serve?
7 years.
7
7.
years.
Yeah, he spent
Must
7
have been
years.
a torturous time for you.
It
know.
was.
And how did you even survive through? Because considering the fact that you were in school, and how people would even look at you.
Yeah, you know, I must say that I went to one of the best schools, and I keep saying that it built me, and I had family. They were like family. Everyone was out there for me.
Which house were you in?
I was in Kingsley and then Slezza. We started off in we had the junior house, and then later on it all came up. But I started off from Kingsley House, went to Slezza House, came back to Kingsley House. So it wasn't a very pleasant time. We as a family, it affected us a great deal, because here I was. I didn't have to think of where to find anything. My fees were paid. I went with provisions as much as I could. I could do whatever I could do. I had a horse to ride. When I come back, I woke up in the morning, I swam.
Wow.
I played, you know, tennis, table tennis. I did everything. I walked in the garden. I just had everything.
Wow.
You understand? And then suddenly, you don't have anything. Because if you wanted to buy sardines, you have to write a letter, take it to the prison directorate, and then they would look at it and then decide whether you needed a 16th of sardines or not.
Wow.
That was how difficult it was.
Tell me
If
briefly
who
about your
wanted to purchase the sardines?
If you wanted money for anything, you had to okay it, because you had a certain amount of money,
Ceiling,
a
yeah.
ceiling that you could withdraw from the bank, because everything was frozen.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that bad.
Tell me, your mother, what was the experience like for her?
My mom was then in the village, because my father had then divorced my mom, and she was in
Okay.
the village. So I was in Accra at East Cantonment with family, and that was about it. You understand?
Did you
So-
have siblings?
Yeah, I have lots of siblings, but it was like you didn't understand. Growing up, you just felt that, no, what's wrong? But then suddenly you realize that things had to change.
Yeah.
So you get somebody shouting, put the air conditioner on, because off, because you're used to having it on. And then
What is your life now like? What are some of the things you're engaged in? And
well, politics.
Yeah.
I wake up at 4:30 a.m. I hit the media houses. I used to represent my party. That was the Convention People's Party, where I became a second national vice chairperson. And I was lucky to be one of the 3 women that ever ran a political party in this country. So that was also a first for me. So it's like getting up in the morning, putting everything together, getting to the media, doing a bit of research on what is happening. And then having sat for a while, I decided, no, partisanship is not working for this country. We needed to find an alternative. So when we decided to form something else with Dr. Abu Sakara, that's the National Interest Movement, which is a political civil society organization seeking for an alternative form of governance for this country. I joined.
What is this alternative form of governance?
The alternative is that we should have a non-partisan kind of approach. We should be able to change the constitution such that the winner takes all, you know, does not affect all of us, because it's one of the things that is affecting us. Winner takes all comes with nepotism, comes with favoritism, comes with corruption, and all that. We must do away with it. So we are asking for proportional representation.
Right.
Let everybody have a say, so that the smaller parties can also grow. If a smaller party does well in a particular constituency, let that person have a representation, let that person have a say, so that at the end of the day, it's all of us building this country, not just one group of people. So that's part of us. And we're saying that no matter what happens, the Tamil's administration came up with this idea of the Constitutional Review Commission.
Right.
They came out with certain recommendations, and all those recommendations, people are being selective. The NDC selected
They
one.
want to enforce them.
Yeah, so we want to enforce them, because that's what we said we wanted. And what we wanted was that the winner takes all concept must be done away with. We didn't want to elect our DCEs on partisan lines. No, even though they had a 50-50 kind of mind. But that's not what we want, because it then polarizes the country more. So that's how it is.
Is this possible? We had just about a minute to go. Is this possible? This this new era you are championing, considering, you know, the very tough political, you know, conditions that we have in this country.
It is possible. It is possible if the youth of this country recognize the fact that that's their only salvation. It is possible because as we grow, we begin to see that it's not just about us. It's about the next generation. And to be able to put down something for the next generation, you must start thinking about now and how it's going to affect the next generation. So it is something that I believe the youth should carry on. Even if we are not able to, the youth must demand for it, because that's the only way. You must get a job because you're qualified to do it, not because you know somebody.
Yeah.
You understand? So you must be in school, learning something that you have a passion for. Come out of it and know that you get a job based on the fact that you qualify, and not because you don't have a relative that will talk for you.
On the lighter note, you love cooking. Please,
I
when meal are we coming to cook?
When are we coming home for a meal?
Oh, anytime.
What do you especially like to cook?
I cook anything. But I don't do European dishes.
Okay.
They're traditional ones.
I'm glad, because I don't even know how to eat cabbage
Good.
and sausages. Thank you, Mommy.
Wow.
I really wish we had a lot of time to talk to
yes.
you. But quickly, when you're not doing politics or when you're not running Royan's, you know, your company, what are you doing?
I
are you
read.
playing?
Wow.
That shut me up, Mommy.
I like to read.
That's it. That's it.
And I
That's
like
it.
classical books. I don't
Wow.
like, yeah.
But quickly, from the Upper East region, if I went to the Upper East, we're celebrating the Ghana month still. If I went to the Upper East region, now what would I find?
If you went to the upper, you get maybe tuonzafi
Okay.
and some kuka soup, or some dry okra soup and some guinea fowls.
Ah,
and you find the
definitely.
beautiful smokes.
Okay.
And nice, lovely people smiling all the way,
Yeah.
even with the hardship. But I can bet you right now, if you go, you taste the sun.
Taste the sun, yes. Well, we're just about entering the rainy season, you know, and already Ghana Meteorological Service has stated that there's going to be a lot of rain. So let's make sure that we even keep our communities very clean, so that we don't experience the, you know, the floodings that we've had in the past, and stay safe out there. But hey, Upper West region has got a lot of sunshine for you.
Yes, I want to say a very big thank you to Auntie Rhoda. She's asking who fished me out, and I'm wondering how you can be asking that question, who fished you out, because then you're like a bonsu, like a whale, so we don't even need to fish. You just have to call out your name and you'll come. Thank you so much for
much,
making time to join us this morning. Yeah.